The following announcement is paid for by the Wrestling with Nerds.
From Mordor to Hogwarts to Gotham, the nerds have come together to create a show for nerds by nerds. Join nerds doing nerd things as they talk about all things nerdy. Stay up to date on the show by liking the Nerds Doing Nerd Things Facebook page.
Hey there, the name's Nukem, Duke Nukem, and you're watching the Nerds Doing Nerd Things podcast. For some unknown reason, enjoy.
What's going on, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Wrestling with Nerds podcast. It's late, so I might be asleep by the end of this. But we are talking 1995's Royal Rumble pay-per-view, and just throwing it out there in the corner up there. There's a nice new logo. Oh, and it's also on TJ and Ryan's background as well. TJ decided to make a retro Wrestling with Nerds logo with the help of Ryan telling him what to do. But it looks pretty dope. It's probably going to end up on a ball cap sooner or later. So go check all that shit out. Check out all our merch, honestly.
Or it'll get us trademark infringement.
Yeah, what of the two? Yeah.
Listen, we changed it just enough that hopefully no one notices. Okay.
Anything,
we even have a nice little microphone graphic that'll show up at some point.
Anything worth doing is worth doing right if we get shut down.
Yeah, you gotta go all the way to the line. You can't go over it, but you gotta get to it.
Just remember, if they shut us down, it's because they thought we did that good of a job.
Well, on the show, as you guys can see, it's TJ, who has selective hearing, and we weren't selected.
Yes. If you'd like to read the rest of my shirt.
I literally just said it. Missed out a couple letters, but they got the point. And the wrestling guru, Ryan Fry.
Stop.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, they were here. But we're doing 95, and that's TJ's pay-per-view that he picked?
Yeah!
TJ's Rumble.
Because yours is still up in the air. We don't know if you've changed yours or not. Because you're like Roddy Piper. Just when you think you know the answer, you fucking change the question. Did you like that
Bob.
one? Did you like that one, Ryan?
Bob. I did, Bob.
It was actually a good callback. I'm impressed, AJ. Especially with your weakened state.
Fuck off. I really, really hope I don't go into a coughing fit because I don't think I can get to that mute button fast enough. But TJ, take us through why you chose 95.
Wait a minute. You get into a coughing fit, and I'll do a Vince McMahon play-by-play of it.
Oh, God.
He's fucking dying. He's fucking dying. He's throwing.
That's gotta be AJ! He's gotta be coughing! Well, I mean, this one really was the one that fully drove home the 2 feet must touch the floor rule of the Royal Rumble. And obviously, if you know, you know, and if you don't know, well, keep watching, you'll find out. But yeah, what do we want to go with Rumble first? You want to start with the prelim stuff? Where do we want to go with this? Crazy.
Do it like we always do. Do it in order.
Well,
Don't die.
Let's start with here. It's the beginning of 1995. We just had Diesel become the WWF champion within the 3 days after Survivor Series 94. Bob Backlund beat Bret Hart at Survivor Series to win the WWF title. The largest gap between 2 championship wins, I still believe, is held by that record. And he went to MSG on a Tuesday night. And
8 seconds, right?
The bell rang. Diesel kicked him in the gut, powerbombed him, and he's the new WWF champion.
Right? Was I right? That fast of a match?
Yeah, it's 8 or 9 seconds. Something like that. Quick, super quick. But that's what you call a transitional champion. You get the belt off of Bret, and you put it on Diesel without them two facing each other first. So you put it on Bob. You give Bob the rub of, hey, he won the WWF title back. And then booyah, it's on Big Daddy Cool Diesel.
So let's start with the first match. It went 18 minutes. It was Jeff Jarrett with the roadie defeating Razor Ramon. And, the roadie had a big spot in this match.
You mentioned this is for the Intercontinental Championship.
I did not. It is for the WWF Intercontinental Championship, and I love Jeff Jarrett. Match is over. It's over, and he just rips into Razor, rips into him, rips into the crowd to the point where Razor goes back up the steps. They restart this match after Road Dogg chop blocks him, and that's how they restart the match.
Yeah, I think that's good to point out. They clipped his knee and the knee injury played out through the whole match, which I love. That's old school storytelling. Hell, these guys these days can't get thrown off a building and they're on Raw the next night. Razor gets counted out in the aisleway. Jarrett talks up a big game and Smack knowing that Razor's going to give in. Razor says, no, let's restart the match. They restart the match. Razor gets the upper hand, goes for the Razor's edge, and what happens? The knee gives out. Perfect play. Small package, 1, 2, 3. Jarrett's the Intercontinental Champion. I like it. These two are great workers. As much flack as Jarrett gets is for being boring and all that stuff.
Is he underrated? Because I would assume he's very underrated.
He's underrated to a point, I think. He gets more flack for like WCW and TNA and how all that panned out more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's a hell of a hand. You give him that. But he's a second generation wrestler. His dad was a promoter in Memphis with Jerry Lawler. They used to split the territory. Jerry the King Lawler would book it for 6 months. Then Jerry Jarrett would book it for 6 months. And then that's the way they got something fresh going on. But all in all, it's just a good match. I give it, if we're doing these ones out of 5, I'll give this one about a 3.
Okay. I'd probably be right around there, a 3, but I'd go about 3.5 just because of the storytelling alone.
Not to mention, it's the Intercontinental title. That belt's beautiful.
That belt was sexy. TJ, what are your thoughts on the match?
I mean, you guys touched on the big points. I think the cool thing here is that we see another moment of the champion's advantage getting thrown back on the champion of like, well, are you really man enough to hold that title, losing but winning by a count out, and it brings him back in because he wasn't, as we all know, he wasn't a bad guy.
So before we go any further, Ryan, we kind of forgot to do this. Mostly I kind of forgot to do this. Royal Rumble 95 comes to you live from Tampa, Florida, the USF Sundome. 10,000 in attendance, which back then, a lot of people. Now, not a lot of people. It had a $225,000 buy rate. Like I said, back then, a lot. Now, not even close.
I assume the stadium does no longer exist.
No, this is on UCF. This is where they play basketball and everything.
Yeah.
This was a pretty popular site for WWF television in Florida. Kind of to set the picture, 1995, this is still like in the downtrodden years of WWE. Hogan's not there. Savage is there, kind of, sort of. WCW hasn't picked up the game yet. Hogan's in WCW, but like it's kind of the recycled. This is the times where he's facing the Dungeon of Doom. Yes, no, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of the Monday Night Wars haven't started yet. That doesn't start until September of 95. So this is the downtrodden. This is how they would always put it, where everybody has a occupation. This is what you see a lot of here in 1995 with like Dumpster Dorsey and TL Hopper, who's a plumber who would fit TJ perfectly with his ass hangs out half the time.
And there's two big celebrities in attendance at this event. LT Lawrence Taylor from the New York Giants, and Ryan, I'll let you announce the next one.
I'm confused. Is the lips thing for the LT or for the next one?
Who do you think?
Well,
Hold on.
For you, it could go either way because I mean, you are the Giants fan here, and it is LT.
LT is amazing, but let's just say for the other one.
Yeah.
Wow.
The the other celebrity guest at this time is probably the biggest name in any teenage young boy's hearts, and
Biggest.
definitely big.
Biggest.
And they were out.
She definitely was pop culture, and it's Pamela Anderson. This is right before she gets married to Tommy Lee.
Oh, pre-videotape. Gotcha.
Yes, this is pre-wedding sex tape. She had the sex tape with Bret Michaels already though, but this is pre Pamela and Tommy. The gimmick is whoever wins the Royal Rumble is escorted to the ring at WrestleMania by ends up being Pamela Anderson. The LT thing, I think he just recently retired from the NFL. I think 94 was his last year. He's in attendance for the because he's quote unquote friends with Kevin Nash. We'll see here in a little bit he gets involved, and we head to WrestleMania 11 for the notorious LT match at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm. So there's all that stuff. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. The next match is The Undertaker with Paul Bearer defeating IRS with Ted DiBiase, and the story of this match was a lot of fun, especially what happens towards the end of it, Ryan and TJ, where they steal the urn. But you really saw how they played into the power. Hold on. Wait. The power of the urn. Ah, damn it didn't show.
Yeah, but anyway, this story, this is long-term storytelling at its finest. This storyline is the Undertaker versus the $1 Million Corporation, and this dates back to before SummerSlam of '94, where we get DiBiase's Undertaker versus Paul Bearer's Undertaker, the Undertaker versus the Underfaker, and this is basically the payback for DiBiase, in a sense of, if you made me look bad by bringing your Undertaker back, now I'm gonna take his urn. You get King Kong Bundy is the one that attacks him.
Yep.
Is Kama show up here?
I remember Bundy.
I don't see it in the notes.
It's Bundy that takes it. Well, I know what happens is eventually Kama gets it and melts it down and wears it as a necklace. That big ass urn.
Ooh, the second one
But,
went down better than the first one.
This storyline with DiBiase goes on. I think WrestleMania 11, Taker takes on King Kong Bundy, and then in the summer he's taking on Kama, the Supreme Fighting Machine, aka Godfather. But this is a nice little long story for the Undertaker to brew in, where he's not in the title picture, but he's facing somebody big every night.
It only went about 12 and a half minutes, but it felt like everybody was getting their shit in, whether it was IRS or The Undertaker, Paul Bearer, or even Ted DiBiase. There was a point where I thought IRS and Ted DiBiase was going to start kicking the shit out of each other outside of the ring. But every time IRS went to go do something, The Undertaker would just sit up, and you just saw Paul Bearer just...
And this is Purple Taker.
Yes.
This is the second coming of Taker. We got Purple Taker now.
Purple.
I've always seen suits where he's wearing black and red instead of black and purple. I always dug the black and purple.
Anybody else got any thoughts on this? This was just a regular singles match that furthered that story, like Ryan was saying, all the way to WrestleMania.
I just always thought it was funny that IRS was paired with DiBiase. It's like the guy with all the money and the guy that wants to screw you out of all the money.
It's always good to have somebody on the inside.
The funnier thing about that is listening to other podcasts and things of that nature. There was an idea at one point to throw a tag team together, and the tag team was supposed to be The Undertaker and IRS. Because the
Really?
only thing real in this life is death and taxes.
Oh Jesus!
That was the whole play on it.
That's
It was pretty
funny.
It's pretty funny concept if you think about it, of Taker and IRS together for death and taxes.
Which, knowing what we know now, wouldn't that have been very interesting for how the times played out later on down the line?
That would have got interesting, especially for that whole storyline that kind of fell flat later on with the second generation guys.
So, Ryan, can you help me with this next match? Why did they put the WWF Championship third to last and not either right before the Rumble or right after the Rumble? What was the point of all that?
You want me to give you the smart ass answer or probably the logistics answer?
Do both, but clarify both for our listeners.
Okay,
and
it's
me.
probably both the same because they wanted to put it there. That's
Okay.
probably basically what they wanted to do.
Honestly,
I would've-
now that I say that, it probably makes sense because a lot of the people you had in that brawl were in the Rumble. So they had time to do the brawl, go back, get ready for the Rumble, and then go out into the Rumble. And especially since there's a certain Heartbreak Kid that comes out and starts whipping Diesel's ass. Which
I think also just thinking in my head of what the match lineup is. If LT is supposed to be Diesel's guest and Bam Bam shoves him, spoiler because that's what happens.
Mhm.
But Bam Bam shoves the LT. If Diesel's not already had a match, then what would keep Diesel from coming out to do something?
Yep.
You know what I mean? That could possibly be part of it. Where this whole thing ends in a feud and they end up in the back and they're still fighting and Diesel's not worried about what's going on outside and you get LT getting shoved. Could be a reason, possibly.
So this match ends in a draw for the WWF Championship, which it ended 3 times.
Just say they stopped this match a bunch.
And I told Ryan earlier this is a very good match. I am rescinding what I told you earlier after rewatching it again. I enjoyed it that we need to have a winner. We need to have a winner. And then after watching it, after you and I had that conversation, Ryan, you still don't really have a winner.
Yeah, I mean,
But it's Brett and Diesel, and it was a very good.
Brett and Diesel always had good matches against each other. But the problem here is when you're thinking of booking, you have Kevin Nash Diesel just won the WWF title in 8 seconds. And in his very first title defense, he can't even beat Bret Hart.
Mm.
So how valuable is he as your WWF champion if you can't even let him beat Bret clean? It's kind of like you just fucked him at the beginning of his run. Now he's gonna carry it for a full year, but everybody's gonna be like, "Yep, but he couldn't beat Bret." And then who's the guy he drops it to in Survivor Series in '95? Bret.
96?
No, it's later on this year. He won it
That's
in
right.
'94. He loses in '95.
I keep the
So like, it's not a good start to his run when he can't beat Bret, or you don't let him beat Bret. Diesel easily could beat Bret, I think,
Oh
as far
yeah.
as that goes.
But the story they were telling of Brett is the smaller guy, and all he has to do is chop at Diesel's lower half, and you see Brett just work the legs and everything in it.
But does it also kind of tell you who's going to win the Royal Rumble by who comes out and attacks Diesel?
I didn't.
I know they don't like each other and they're split, but you only had Owen and Jarrett didn't touch Diesel, but Sean is the one that is attacking Diesel.
Yeah, I didn't see it that way, but I can kind of see if you had a mind like Ryan or somebody on the level or close to the level of Ryan, you could see that. But me just watching it, enjoying myself, I just Bob Backlund, Owen, Sean, they're all just out there fucking shit up.
I like too how they're all like they're messing with the guy that they don't like, but they don't mess with each other. They're like, no. I mean, like we're all going into a Royal Rumble here in a few minutes. we're not gonna maybe take a pop shot at somebody else. No,
Exactly.
I did find it funny how Bob Backlund's sitting at the corner. I was like, so this is going to be a tag match, right? Just standing at the corner.
It's Bob Backlund. He's not right.
Is he still with us?
Yes.
He's got to be up there in age.
he might be one crossface chicken wing from death, but
I think he's in his mid to late 70s.
Really? I thought he was older than that.
oh shit,
And-
he'd come back for another Rumble.
He would fucking destroy all three of us. I know that much.
I mean, I wouldn't throw a punch just out of respect, but yeah, I mean, sure.
You would just ask him, can he do it? Can he do it just once? And if you pop out a shoulder, it'll make it even better.
Did you fuck your shoulder up? No, nothing.
So,
I'm telling. If I get my shoulder ripped up, I'm telling everybody. Bob Backlund did this.
and you'll never wash it again or get it fixed. It'll stay out the
So
whole
I'll
time.
get it fixed. That'll fucking hurt.
Especially if it's his other shoulder,
Oh,
be the
shit.
fucking shifting arm. You need that thing fixed.
Guys, can you just make an incision that looks like a BB so I know Bob Backlund was here?
Oh God.
So the next match, the penultimate match before we get to the Royal Rumble, it's the 1-2-3 Kid and Bob Holly. What was Bob Holly's name before?
Bob,
Sparkplug?
when he debuted, it was Thurman Sparky Plug, and then it turned into Bob Sparkplug Holly.
Defeating Bam
God.
Bam Bigelow and Tanaka with Ted DiBiase again. And this was for the vacant WWF Tag Team Champion. And this was the finals. The Heavenly Bodies lost to the 1-2-3 Kid and Bob Holly. And the Head Shrinkers lost to Bam Bam Bigelow and Tatanka. This
There
was
you
about
go.
15 and a half
There you
minutes.
go. There you go.
What do you mean there I go?
Well, you said his name wrong first.
Did I
was
say
getting ready? You said Tanaka.
Ah, damn it. The freaking Yankees pitcher that went back to Japan and now wants to come back.
Yeah.
But wants to
This
play for
was
the Red
kinda
Sox. I
dumb.
don't know fucking why.
This was a tournament because Billy Gunn got hurt at a rodeo. That's why this is a tournament, because they were the tag champs and the Cowboys got hurt at a rodeo and they needed a new champion.
But isn't Billy Gunn in the Rumble? Pretty sure
Who, the
Billy
Bill-
Gunn's in this Rumble.
It's Billy or Bart, one of the two get hurt.
It's Billy. He's in the Rumble. Which
Yeah.
one?
Either
Bart-
way,
Bart was injured in a rodeo accident. I think both of them are actually in the Rumble, which is kind of stupid.
This
but-
this Rumble was nuts.
It's just
at
it's
a
one of those,
rodeo.
and I literally think the next night.
Foreshadowing.
The next night on Raw, the Smoking Guns win the tag titles back from Bob Holly and 1-2-3 Kid.
Who does?
1-2
the Guns?
Yeah, the 1-2-3 Kid has 2 WWE tag team reigns, and they both equal together like 2 days. He won them with Marty Jannetty
Mhm.
and lost them the very next night to the Quebecers. And I'm pretty sure he wins them here and loses them the very next night on Raw to the Smoking Guns.
So
But it is what it is. You got Bam Bam, who's a great worker. He gets embarrassed. The 1-2-3 Kid pins him,
mhm. And then has
he's
a tantrum
disheveled, and they're all everybody's kind of picking on him. And he looks over, and there's LT just smiling. You fucking point at that cup one more time, and I'm gonna shove it up your nose.
fine. One more. Got it. Cool.
So he looks over, and LT's standing there, sitting there with his agent, laughing, carrying on, having a good time. And Bam Bam thinks he's making fun of him. So LT stands up to talk to him, and Bam Bam just says, "Yeah, whatever," and then kind of like looks away, comes back, and shoves the living shit out of LT.
His glasses went flying when he did that.
It's not a Stone Cold shoves or Mike Tyson moment where money goes flying, but god damn.
Fuck, I'm so happy I didn't drink.
Ooh, that'd have been rough up your nose. You might have died.
It's literally alcoholic honey. It's the same thickness as honey.
Yeah, you probably would have died.
It's
Yep.
45% too. Ugh.
Yep, up your nose with a rubber hose.
What? Oof.
Huh? What?
Listen, Vinny Barbarino, don't worry about it.
Barino.
So This Royal Rumble is very, very different. TJ, do you want to tell them what's different about this Royal Rumble that's never happened for the Royal Rumble?
Well, this is, as advertised, the fastest Royal Rumble in history. It was a 1
It's
minute.
not, but it is.
Well, fastest.
It's the fastest 30-man Royal Rumble.
Sure. Was it every minute they were sending somebody out?
Every
Yes.
minute. And do you want me to go into the timing of that again, or should we not?
I swear to God, I feel like it
Did
was
you really
supposed
break
to be
down
every
everybody's
minute.
entrance to the minute?
It's like
Not
every
everybody.
58 seconds.
Not everybody, but like the first like 10 or so are.
But- Is there anybody under 57 seconds?
Give me a sec. I wrote it down. I was looking for my phone.
Is there
Uh,
anybody over a minute 2? Because if I feel like we're not giving them at least that little bit of a leeway.
So I started it the minute they hit the ring. The minute they hit the ring is when the 60
Yeah,
seconds.
Evidently, that's where the count starts because Santino's elimination time is 1 second. So that would be apron up, clothesline over the top, 1 second.
So I had 3 of them at 54 and under, and I had one of them over a 102, as you stated as parameters.
Okay.
I didn't label who. I just keyed it.
But
Okay.
there are literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's like 5 or 6 eliminations that are literally under 30 seconds.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But this is a time period where there was not a whole lot of talent in the WWF.
Were they hurt for time? Like, was that the plan here?
I don't know.
Well,
I honestly don't know.
Just so you guys know, and I know I've been telling you guys the match times, they gave every match a good amount of time. 18 minutes for Jeff Jarrett and Razor, 12 and a half for Undertaker and IRS, almost 30 minutes for Diesel and Brett, and another 16 for 1, 2, 3 Bob Holly versus Bam Bam and Tatanka.
So we were barely at 2 hours, the start of the Rumble? If not even at 2 hours?
This would make sense because pay-per-views at that time would always cut off at 250 or 240. They never went a full 3 hours back then. They always cut off at least.
See,
10
I
minutes
always
or-
thought those early pay-per-views, unless it was like Mania or something, or yeah, probably just Mania, they were 2.5 hours or less.
all of them, all pay-per-views up until the part of the network were over with by 2 hours and 50 minutes tops.
Was that for like advertisement time or?
It was just they were given like a 2 hour. They were basically given a 2 hour and 40-minute window.
I
They were
remember.
given a 3 hour window, but if they didn't get close to that, they didn't have to pay for the extra time.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I don't know how much you trust Jericho or whatever, but I remember Jericho saying, you have this amount of time, but the minute you go over, you are paying a shit ton in
yeah.
extra fees and everything.
For pay-per-view, they're paying out of their pocket a shit ton
And
to if it goes over like WCW in '98, I think it was, with Goldberg and DDP Halloween Havoc. That match never even made pay-per-view because they ran out of time because they totally fucked up their timing.
What'd they do? Show it
And
the next night on Raw? Raw Nitro?
yeah, they showed it the next night on Nitro.
Can you imagine that? Wanting a whole pay-per-view to watch that fucking match to the point where everybody's gonna watch it for free the next day.
Yeah, and that's
Ultimate
WCW.
troll job.
Do you want to hear something even more fucked up? You remember the Royal Rumble about 10 years ago where it was up in Boston and the next night on Raw, it was in Hartford and we had a snowstorm? They showed everybody the Royal Rumble
Yeah,
in its
But we're on-
entirety.
they're on the network at that point. It
They-
didn't matter.
They are, but it's not the same, but it's kind of the same. Ryan just paid $10, and everybody else is gonna see this the next day.
Well, how about the dumbasses that didn't pay the $10 and paid the full pay-per-view price?
See, I never
There
did
was
that.
pay-per-view. There was pay-per-view at that time. I'll give you this one for 1995 Royal Rumble. This is one of the ones that I can vividly remember watching this through Scrambled pay-per-view channel.
Of course you did. R.
No, not with like the scrambled box watching the pay-per-view. I watched this through this distorted scrambled television.
Oh,
Like I could just listen to it, and then every once in a while you'd get a glimpse of what was going on. I did that. That's how dedicated I was. I couldn't afford the pay-per-views, and my grandfather sometimes would say, "No, you're not coming up." And
hey
what are you gonna
TJ,
do?
how old were you in this pay-per-view? What happened?
7? 8?
Yeah. Ryan's older than both of us. I was 2. You want to know when the first time I watched this this whole pay-per-view was?
The other day.
Today. Do you know when
I'm
I?
only a year older than
Ryan,
you.
I just say Ryan's only got me by a year, my guy.
Oh, I thought Ryan was. Oh yeah.
I'm only a
87.
year older than you.
He's 87. I'm 88.
So, I've
Yeah,
seen
all the good ones end in 7.
I don't know, man. I'm 88 and I love it.
I'm 93, but
Hey, you got Jurassic Park, maybe.
You're not even 2 yet here.
no, I'm not.
You're like 1.5.
You teach.
But the
you
Rumble-
teach me do sweet chin music.
The Rumble was the Rumble. You had Sean and British Bulldog start the match. I don't know about you guys, but I'm a closet British Bulldog fan. I always loved the British Bulldog. He was so cool. I love the tassels, and the red, white, and blue, even though it was for the UK colors. And like
So,
the early '90s where he had the beaded hair, I love that version of British Bulldog.
I've seen this Royal Rumble match a couple times just because of what happens inside of it. I've seen it a couple times. But Ryan, look away for a sec, even though you probably already know the answer. I'll ask TJ first. TJ, who had the most eliminations in this Royal Rumble?
Would it not be the Bulldog?
It's not the Bulldog. Bulldog had 4.
Sean?
It is Sean with 8. Who had the most time in this Rumble? Again, Ryan, shut up. TJ.
Well, never mind.
Wouldn't it also be Sean?
Yep,
Since he was entrant number 1.
It's Sean and Bulldog both because they both started the match. They
Right,
both
like-
ended the match, so there's no time difference between the two.
I mean, unless you want
Why I
to
always laugh.
technically.
That's why I always laugh when you watch these Rumbles and you pay attention to it now because it's hilarious. But you'll have like number 1 and number 2 in the Rumble for a while.
Yeah.
But like Gorilla will give you the time on the guy that was number 1, and it wouldn't be the same for the guy that came in at number 2. The match started with both of them in the ring at the same time. There's no
Unless
time
they
difference.
start.
There's no
count-
time difference.
I know,
The-
but, like-
no, but the first 2 that start the match, there's no time difference because the match doesn't start till the bell rings. The bell doesn't ring till both people are in the ring.
But do they start their time in the ring is when they enter?
No, the first 2 that start the match don't start the match till both of them are in the ring and the bell rings.
But they're in the
bell
ring
rings
before the match or in the bell
Doesn't
ring.
count.
Why not?
The match doesn't start until the bell rings. Not when they come out. It's when the match starts.
I'm not good.
But anyhow, it's so fucking. It's
Ow.
hilarious now when you look back on it. 'Cause you're like, they start together, and I love how they always talk about in promos. I'm gonna
But
beat
now,
up 30
now,
other men.
now,
I
now,
love when they do promos and like I'm gonna beat up 30 other men. How are you gonna beat yourself up, you dumbass? There's 30. You're one of them, so it's 29 other men.
brief moment. Just give me this one. Technically, with Bulldog getting eliminated, wouldn't that mean there'd be like that 1 second gap before the bell rings?
Nope. The
where
minute
Sean's in there
the
longer.
minute his feet hit the floor, ding ding, same time.
But,
Match
I
is
mean,
over.
you sure?
Yes.
Just a brief second. I mean, he's not in the ring
30
at that point. He's flying over. the
38 38-41 to 38-41.
I mean, you could make the argument that there's that whole time Sean's not in the ring because he's all, oh God, I have no control of my feet, and suddenly I have control of my feet.
I feel like we need to drive up to Vermont.
I'm just saying.
But he's still in the match, you dipshit.
He's
Even
not
when
in the
he's hanging on the
So
rope.
no, let's
It's not your time in the ring counts. It's what does it until your feet hit the floor. You're not eliminated.
So let's talk about that. Is that the first time where we've seen you need both feet to hit the floor? Was it mentioned that you always needed to have both feet touch the floor, or was that the start of it?
No, it's always been said.
Okay,
But it had never like.
because
Yeah,
went
it's never been teased where somebody was eliminated.
they even
or
played
looked like they
Bulldog's
were
music.
Now was Brett and Luger before or after this? Before, right?
And Brett and Luger was the year before it.
Where they both same time hit the.
And that was done so good the way they did it. Now, it's kind of funny because if you go back and watch the end of the '94 Rumble, there's no camera on that side at all, so you can't see. But from other people's recollections of them, they literally hit the ground simultaneously. Brett was so good in the air that he made sure both sets of feet hit the ground, where you couldn't tell the difference.
Mm-hmm.
This year, they wanted you to see Sean's foot. That's why there was a camera on that ring post, so you could see his foot touch and not the second foot. I think the '94 Rumble caused the finish for the '95 Rumble.
Okay.
Or at least gave him the idea.
Well, then you had
And I have
2005.
done. I don't know about you, but I have done research trying to figure out. I have no clue who TK is. We were talking about that with Sean. I have no clue.
I
who
asked
it
you
was.
that, right? Who the fuck is TK?
Yeah, and I've looked at it and I can't find it.
So-
Would it simply have been him as the kid? Like the Heartbreak Kid, but the kid?
it could be the kid because no, 1, 2, 3 kids there, so this wouldn't be one of those times where he was out with his neck injury or something. I don't know.
No. Tony Khan. Got it. We
Oh
know.
yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay.
They're in Florida. They need the help to make a wish kid.
Jesus Christ.
Speaking of which, because
Jinder Mahal's the goat.
everybody tells us we get bashed for the AEW comments. We watched a different pay per view this weekend.
Oh my god, you read
Well-
those too? Holy shit.
well,
you guys
two-thirds-
just hate AEW.
Two-thirds of our crew watched it because the one at the bottom
Hey,
was asleep within
My
3 minutes.
subconscious
He was
enjoyed
he-
the shit out of that show.
He was in the Discord watching that pay-per-view Hard to Kill longer than like 3/4 of the guys in this Rumble. I'll give him 3
Watch
minutes and
it.
he was out.
Watch it.
And then we moved him to a sleep hut.
It was funny. It was funny because I was like, I think I can wake him up. And ladies and gentlemen, if you were listening to us on YouTube on a higher volume, please turn it down. All right? So you turned it down. I hit this fucking button. Pyro. Cody Rhodes equal Pyro equals. What? Didn't happen.
But it was great. We were listening and we heard him go, and then it was back to, and I moved him to his hut so he could go to sleep. The big bear needed to go to bed.
So real
But
quick,
anyhow,
When
with
it's
this paper,
hibernation time. It's
We watched the
hibernation
TNA.
time.
We watched the relaunch of TNA. I've watched TNA from almost its infancy. I think I watched it from like week 4 when it was the pay-per-view specials. I love TNA wrestling.
this was the first little bit of TNA
I-
wrestling since they've gone back to 4 sides. Because I know they were 8 sides, then
6
4
sides.
or 6 sides, 4 sides, back to 6 sides. Now they're back at 4 sides.
Yeah. But it was a
You
great
say that
show.
6 times fast?
It was a phenomenal show.
No, but seriously,
I mean, TNA, phenomenal. Styles, great job. It was good. I enjoyed the entire show, front to back, top to bottom, left to right. It was a great show. And the best thing they did was they booked a show in an arena and filled the sumbitch.
Fry, hold on. AJ, what the fuck is wrong with you?
There was a breakout dude that I had no clue who the fuck he was, and I was very impressed by the end of the night.
Oh yeah,
Name?
the matches of the night are Josh Alexander and Alex Hammerstone. That match was fantastic.
Okay, there's another one.
And then the knockouts match with Jordan Grace and Trinity was freaking awesome.
That was good, too.
I love that match.
There's another one.
And then the main event was Moose.
Before that,
Which one?
I didn't know who Jake something was, but I freaking thought he was awesome.
Yeah,
Jake from State Farm?
they have no. It's supposed to be PCO, who is the Quebec Frankenstein or something like that. He's Pierre Cargolet. Olet is his real name. He used to be a Quebecer on WWF. He's like a Frankenstein type character now. He fought Dirty Dango, who used to be Fandango in WWE. The match gets disqualified because Dango and the guy that used to be Vladimir Kozlov and some other guy beat him up. I don't know names. Trust me. I follow TNA, but I don't know everybody. They beat up
Alpha Bravo is Kozlov.
Yeah.
Then
no, Alpha Bravo is the other one.
then Ogul Purgis.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Vladimir Kozlov because it's easier to say. So they
You know,
beat up
you
PC
click on his name, you click on that Ogul name, and Vladimir Kozlov pops up.
Yeah,
So go with
they-
Vladimir Kozlov.
they beat up PCO. Well, PCO gets helped.
Jesus, he's
Rhino
old.
makes his return.
He is old.
Rhino.
Well, no shit. He
Rhino-
was on with Slaughter, wasn't he?
Nah, he started in the WWE in like '93, but he is like 60.
Was
Or close
Slaughter
to
not
it.
still on then in that like Desert Storm Slaughter?
54.
That was after.
And it only shows him in WWE from 06 to 08, then 08
You're talking about
to
Kozlov?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were talking about PCO. I'm not worried about Kozlov.
Oh, well, shit.
Uh,
Fuck off.
But anyhow, so then Rhino comes out, and then this
Rhino
guy,
looks
Jake,
exactly the same.
only a little bit thick. The thighs are a little bit thicker on Rhino, to be honest with you. I could enough friction burn there between the two of them.
Ooh,
But then
chafing.
this guy comes out, Jake something. I've heard about him, but I've never seen him. And I
Why
tell
don't
you
look
what,
up his name, please.
his name is Jake something.
No, seriously. His ring name is Jake something.
His name is Jake something.
Okay. His
He's-
real name is Jacob Doyle.
But if you think about this, TJ, because you were sleeping, so it's kind of hard for you to remember what he looks like or anything about him. If you think of a better Rick Boogs, same size, same build, everything,
More charisma.
more
Less
charisma.
Frankie Mercury
is
or less Freddie Mercury?
no, he even had a mustache, didn't he? Or did he have a goatee?
Jesus
Get a
Christ, where's
goatee.
my phone?
Goatee.
Jake
But
something
he
TNA.
was impressive. He's definitely impressive. Moose and Alex Shelley for the TNA World Title was awesome. That was a great contrast of
fantastic
big guy
match.
versus a little guy.
And they were
and little
both
guy-
using.
Yeah, and the little guy had the advantage most of the match because he took a potty part and just thumped the shit out of it all. night.
How many times can you remember seeing Moose?
Moose held his elbow and checking his arm literally like 3/4 of that match.
And then what did Alex Shelley do?
Go right back to it. Right back to it. It was great. We did see the debut of, was it Ash by Elegance is her name? It's Dana
Yeah.
Brooke.
It's Dana Brooke, and you couldn't even get a good look at Dana Brooke because your eyes went to behind her.
Yeah, it was hilarious. So this pay-per-view is at the Palms Casino. So it's in their little entertainment areas where they had it. And they bring in Ash by Elegance in this big, nice, beautiful, fancy dress, this big fur coat thing. And literally
Shit
the
ton of
one thing
makeup.
TNA didn't do right was standing behind her was like a 5'8" mullet cut, big bearded, full of tattoos, fat guy drinking beer with no t-shirt on. So that literally every time they went to look at her, all you could look at was the fat guy standing
Was
behind her
Bubba.
with tattoos, and it was like, What's so elegant about this picture? I'm missing the point.
Just remember, I was here sleeping, not at the pay-per-view. Okay.
You have
The best
tattoos
part-
going across your
no,
chest?
No, the
No.
best part about this is he's standing right next to a security guard the entire time.
He's talking to
And
the
they don't
security
do it.
guard.
They're talking to the security guard.
Like, was he
And then
not supposed to be
and then-
there?
No, and to make it even worse, when they get into the Shelly Moose match, which is the next match, they go outside the barricade that way. The dude's standing there and he's got his t-shirt on. It's like, what the fuck? It's like this guy had no shirt on. Now he's got a shirt on.
I feel like they told him to put
What
it
are they
on.
doing? It was
Put your
great.
shirt back on. You're scaring all the Ash by Elegances away.
But I mean, I enjoyed the pay-per-view. I'm gonna try to tune in a little bit harder on.
I don't
TNA.
have
Did
access.
we actually cover the finale of the Rumble that we were supposed to be talking about?
We all know the finish. It's fucking Shawn versus Bulldog at the beginning. It's Shawn
Yeah,
versus
but-
Bulldog at the end.
We talked
But-
about it.
But it's Pam in the ring.
Oh yeah, so then
Oh,
Shawn
and
wins.
Shawn grinding up
yeah,
her?
It's hilarious to think because, like, from what I've heard of different shows, she wanted nothing to do with Shawn Michaels. And I even made the comment when we watched this together. I'm like, them two are standing in the ring, and I said, which one's the bigger diva? I'm gonna go with the guy, and I'm gonna go with the guy in the red boots.
with the TK.
Yeah. The best part about this is when they get to Mania, she doesn't escort him to the ring. He's escorted to the ring by Jenny McCarthy, and she's escorted to the ring Diesel. So that's how that worked out.
Of course, Jenny McCarthy, another. Oh.
Yeah,
I
because
mean,
isn't the beginning of
ba-
his music
the-
"I'm the Kid"?
No,
No.
Sean "I'm the Kid"?
No.
You know I'm. No, I don't know.
I
Those
know I'm
words aren't-
hot. I know I'm sexy. I've got the looks that
Oh.
drive the girls wild.
Swear there's a
I
spot
got
in
the
there where it
moves.
says it.
They really move them.
Listen, I might have been
make 'em
asleep for that
feel-
too.
I don't need
Like,
Ryan going into word poetry with Shawn
This is
Michaels'
like
theme
getting
song.
Kind of
Don't need to
disturbing.
listen to it.
Go back to Impact. Go back
What?
to Impact. I regret my decision. Go back to Impact.
Whoa!
But
It's
like-
not Impact anymore. They got rid of Impact.
Yeah, it's no impact. It's TNA.
God,
Cross
whatever.
the line.
I was asleep. You didn't even mention Dolph.
It's not, he's not
You
Dolph.
didn't let me
It's
get
not
there.
Dolph.
It's not Dolph. It's Nick Nemeth.
And he is
That's his name.
actually a signee of
And
TNA.
he's signed with TNA, not going to AEW. Thank you, God. He's gonna be in TNA. He'll work out great in TNA, I think. think
Can you
Scott-
picture him and Moose, or him and
think-
Alex Shelley?
I think Scott D'Amore, the guy that's the president of TNA, has been very, very smart with what he spends, all that kind of stuff for like the last year, getting ready for this switchover. And I think they're ready to compete, not with WWE. They're ready just to be able to compete in general and make people, hey, watch what we're doing over here.
You want to know something, TJ?
The,
Nobody.
the elevation-
Oh, TJ.
the Elevation X match with the knockouts, I knew of two of them in the ring for the knockouts, and it was a great match. Giselle Shaw won the match. AJ, I didn't get your thoughts on her. What did you think of her?
Who we talking about?
The one that won the Elevation X match, the first match of the night. Giselle Shaw.
I loved the X Division matches, like that whole concept, and the way they were moving around the ring and just doing certain moves. Her spear was like Edge and Jeff Hardy, awesome. I
Yeah, that-
popped. You heard me pop like
Yeah.
huge for
It
that.
was
And
a
then
really
see-
cool moment.
And then seeing her just, fuck it, I'm just gonna go get it, and then go get it. That's basically a Money in the Bank, right?
yeah, her winning that lets her have a shot at the Knockouts title anytime she wants it.
So, it's basically Money in the Bank.
TNA is the ones that started the whole briefcase thing. It wasn't WWE. TNA started it with what they called the Feast or Fired, where they would have a battle royal, it was a battle royal, and it was like the final four eliminated.
Mm.
So and they would get to pick one of four briefcases. So it was a world title match, an X Division title match, a tag match, or you're fired. And you pick the briefcase. So if you're your guy that wins, you get to pick net first. The guy that gets eliminated last picks the second one, third, so on, and then fourth. And then they all opened their briefcases at the same time, and somebody got fired, and 3 other ones got title matches. Their feast or fire matches were pretty entertaining.
See, I thought it was called Feast or Famine.
No, they call it feast or fired.
Oh. I remember Carter, EC3, being so like, you're fired. You're fired. What the fuck?
Yeah. But TNA's here, and I'm looking forward to watching it.
So,
And
but
they had a full arena.
But back to what I was saying, nobody's gonna compete with WWE. Want to know something? TNA's gonna give a good run for their money to AEW.
Yeah, and there was AEW. Well, there was WWE talent in the arena last night, and one that doesn't know what the hell she wants to do with herself. Bailey and Sasha Banks were both spotted right behind the announcers.
After that match, Trinity walked up to the ramp and everything, and it really looked like she was like, bye everybody, like she's leaving.
She's going back to WWE. That has been confirmed for about 3 weeks now.
Oh.
I don't think she'll be back in time for Rumble. Of course, she could have been wrestling without a contract right now. But then again, TNA might be. I think WWE is willing to play ball with TNA, and TNA is willing to play ball with WWE as far as like the forbidden door, so to speak. So I could see them saying, "Okay, she can go be on your Royal Rumble show." Sure.
Can you fucking imagine Alex
But
Shelley?
I could also see, because of Charlotte's injury, I think is what's led to Trinity coming back. I could also see the other one coming back as well, Sasha, because there's rumors she's going to AEW, but I think that's just a smokescreen. And it could be her. It could be them two are the ones that are going to help Bailey once she gets kicked out of Damage Control.
See, I'm okay with having Trinity back. I'm okay with that. I liked her character. I am not in whatsoever a fan of Sasha Banks.
I think Sasha will be different when she comes back this time because it's not Vince in charge, it's Hunter in charge. I don't think she'll throw her temper tantrums where she doesn't get it her way like she did when Triple H wasn't calling the shots. Now that Triple H is calling the shots, I don't think you're going to get that version.
Okay, you say that, but look at Seth. Seth is still throwing his temper tantrums and Triple H is in charge.
The more and more I watch them, you guys got to remember, the one thing Triple H is going to try to create again is a kayfabe aura of some sort. It's easy to flip a video. It's easy to know, hey, this guy's coming back. I want you to go ballistic. Goes ballistic live in front of the crowd, and they all think, huh, nobody in the back saw that. They didn't see him do that. They didn't know he was doing that. You honestly think that the Seth Punk working together is not a work? I think it is.
I mean,
it's simple.
I think Seth can be as pissed as he wants, but he's always done what's best for business.
Let's not forget, AJ, everybody now is under the assumption that there are cameras watching them everywhere.
Exactly.
For that purpose.
Triple H is taking his time to figure out how can I create a new kayfabe. And this is his way of creating a new kayfabe. From the reactions of off-camera, off-live television cameras, and on social media, and on podcast. He's using podcast to create a kayfabe. That's why these. That's why all these guys.
Can we talk to you? Can we, right here?
This is why they're all going on Logan Paul and doing Logan Paul's podcast, because they can create a story on it. But
let's not forget a little pop culture thing where we saw this work for a certain TV show featuring wrestling with, Stephen Amell. Did the same thing and it worked for them. Please bring it back.
To me, everything's a work. Nothing's a shoot. Even when it's a shoot, it's a work. And when it's a work, it's a shoot. Anymore these days, because Hunter has gotten so good at trying to create this new generation kayfabe. If he can use social media and off-camera camera footage to his benefit, he's gonna do it.
I didn't know Rich Swan was in TNA.
Yeah, he was on the pre-show from Baltimore, Maryland.
Oh, speaking of that, TJ, you wouldn't guess who the announcers are in TNA.
No, he wouldn't
Hey.
because he was sleeping.
I wouldn't. So who the hell are they?
You remember Tom Phillips? SmackDown?
Maybe
Do you remember Aiden English?
the wrestler,
Yeah.
Yeah, the one that was
the opera singer.
Yeah. They work great together.
He was with Simon Gotch or whatever when
Yeah.
they were the.
The vaudevillain.
The two
Yeah.
of them work really good together, and throw this out there, still better than AEW.
You don't like the commentators on AEW?
Well, JR doesn't know what he's talking about anymore.
Well, that's because he's had like 8 strokes and he's all about barbecue sauce in Oklahoma.
To be fair, JR knows what he's talking about. He just can't get it out.
Yeah, well, rumbling, bumbling, and stumbling.
But he's also not
his
on
words.
there. He's also not on live anymore as much as he was. They've went to Excalibur and Tony and Taz, which I don't mind Taz and I don't mind
I don't.
Tony.
What's the one show where
X-
Jericho's on the mic?
That's Collision, I think.
Because
I
I
think
like
it's
Chris
Collision.
Jericho on mic.
Um,
He's a good announcer.
Jericho's okay. But the thing you got to look out for is, are they there to make everybody better, or are they just for themselves? Sometimes wrestlers can be there just for themselves.
Look at Samoa Joe for a while. Oh shit! That was supposed to be an inside thought.
Samoa
Intrusive thoughts,
Joe on
Juan.
mic was not terrible.
No, he wasn't. Just like CM Punk on mic wasn't that bad. On this mic, in this ring, even on commentary, nobody can touch me.
But we get digress. We've digressed a lot.
We've
Oh, by the way, CM Punk confirmed for Australia.
so that whole
Yeah.
picture you sent us is basically nothing.
I don't know
anymore?
what I don't know what. I don't even know if that was real, dog. That could have been a troll post. Who knows?
Dude, I would love to see the Iconics back. I loved Peyton Royce.
You know that you know Rocky's favorite one is the pregnant again, right?
What?
Billy Kay? No, Peyton
Of
Royce.
Peyton Royce of the Iconics. She's pregnant again.
Good for her. Good for her. Good for her. And
Oh. Took me a minute to catch up what the fuck you were talking about.
fuck, who she's married to?
10-second guy, I thought. No,
Is it Ty Dillinger?
Ty Dillinger, Sean
It's
Spears.
10-second guy.
He's leaving AEW. Where the fuck is?
He already left. I think he's just taking time off.
Well, good for her. Good for him. Good for her.
Maternity
hopefully,
leave.
Hopefully that goes very well for both of them, and they get.
Yeah, because she had a real hard time, like Samantha Bush.
She
leaving,
did.
right?
She did. He'd be another really good one in AEW. Not AEW.
Who?
TNA.
Could
Sean-
possibly be.
Sean Spears.
I made my decision, my guys.
What decision?
I'm
So the next
nervous.
Royal Rumble one is me,
Yes.
Oh,
and
I'm afraid.
I know. I'm nervous.
I'm gonna go with kind of, I don't know how I always do this, but I end up like matching something you guys did. Something you guys have already picked. I end up doing something that ties it together. AJ's
Maybe-
Royal Rumble was Royal Rumble 2002.
The game.
It was in the Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia. We're headed back to the Phillips Arena in Atlanta, Georgia, because I am taking Royal Rumble 2010.
Is that the 40?
No,
Thank
That is-
God.
additional 30. We get Undertaker versus Rey Mysterio for the world title. You get Sheamus versus Randy Orton for the WWE title. Let's see what else is in match. Christian versus Ezekiel Jackson for the ECW title. The Miz versus MVP for the US title. Mickey James versus Michelle McCool for the Women's Championship. And then, of course, we have the Royal Rumble match itself.
Stay tuned till next time.
Yeah, buddy. So we're going WrestleMania 2010.
This was his last Rumble before he retired, right?
Who is he?
Not giving it away.
He who says to be unnamed was number one. This one, yes.
You said 2010, right?
Yes.
Number one.
He who was number one in the one we're doing now, yes.
Okay.
Now that everybody knows what we're talking about, because we had to say it twice and slow for the guy on the little bit of the tism.
Oh, you have no idea. Oh, I feel
Maybe
good.
a few honey and alcohol shots in here.
Oh, it's so good. You should try it. Ooh. All right. Well, thank you everybody for tuning in. Guys, you want to hit anything else in the wrestling world right now? Outside of, what happened on SmackDown a couple days ago?
It may not be from the actual Royal Rumble, but Titus still has the greatest entrance to a Royal Rumble ever.
I mean, he's the only one that ever go whoop right up the other side.
Somebody should have memed that and just woo right underneath.
Slide to the left. Talk about Roman.
Logo. It's a cool logo.
It's a very cool logo.
Cool logo.
But yeah, since I brought up SmackDown, woo.
Logo.
How about that Shield powerbomb through the announce table?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't believe they gave it to him to actually do the powerbomb. I thought it was going to be Randy.
Oh, and then he powerbombed him, and then he walked up to right to Randy's shoulder. I thought he's gonna get dropped. And I'm just shocked that Randy didn't drop him with an RKO.
You want to hear something really funny? I was watching that again yesterday, since it's well past midnight. Freaking LA Knight picks up the microphone. It's not even live. Yells into it and chucks it at him. And I'm like, I would have loved to have heard what that was.
Yeah.
On to the next one, Jeeves.
Dummy. Yeah.
All right, everybody. We're doing Royal Rumble 2010 next week. Check it out. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the Nerds Doing Nerd Things channel for more Wrestling with Nerds and more all-around fun nerd content. For TJ, for Ryan, I'll catch y'all later. Peace out, everybody.
Doses.